What's up, Cosmic Kinfolk? It's DJ Dab, aka The Last Dragon, coming back at you with some spectacular energy and topics to add on to how we've kept building over these past, 6 months or so. Thank you for rocking with me. For the most part, I wanted to kind of jump right in and talk about supplemental information. It's always good to start with the supplemental information before I dive into deeper stuff that would definitely take your mind down a path of great exploration. Things that are very pertinent to the soul's development. So, without further ado, we're going to stop again and understand that some of this stuff discussed here could potentially be top secret. I'm not putting it behind the paywall quite yet, as the goal here is to generate enough interest in this channel and keep the Patreon wall there for people who are curious in the moment of hearing these messages and go, oh my gosh, what else is there to discover? What else is there hidden beyond just what's being discussed here on the surface? So, as a shaman, I've kept a lot of my own personal stories secret. I don't talk to many people about who and what I am. A lot of times online, it's easier to divulge information because there's a level of anonymity that, allows you peace of mind knowing that the other person's not staring you back in your eye, especially as a shaman. And when they stare you back in your eye, you read them and you can hear them. And you don't necessarily have to when you're doing that online. It comes often though online as well. Just from literally retweeting somebody, a lot of times as a covalent bond person, somebody who's caught up in entanglements, I can enter their atmospheric thoughts, not their total thoughts, but their atmospheric thoughts. First of all, I get that information by reading their tweets. I look at their profile, and then as I'm going through their secret thoughts that they don't realize they're divulging to me, my third eye gets opened and synced into what I call SHS, Sympathetic Human Synchronicity. Now, Sympathetic Human Synchronicity is a level of shaman gift that a lot of witches and witchcraft, a lot of wizards and wizardry are able to achieve, but not understand that they're not necessarily reading someone's mind, or they're not necessarily tapping into an ancestor and the ancestor is talking to them. Let me divulge something to you. So maybe you grew up in the day and era I did, and if not, I'll help you come along into the past. But there used to be on the Sci-Fi Network a show called John Edwards. He was a psychic medium. Now, having grown up myself very attached to death and rebirth, I know I've been communicating with the dead for a while. And I watched his show in curiosity around the age of 14, 15, 16, maybe even into my later teens, where I was like, how is this guy doing this more fluid than I'm able to? In a way where I can hear dead people, but it's usually around my ancestors, someone who's passed away, or something else in a place and time that I'm occupying. But I never really understood what he was doing. And then I did my research in my 20s, still curious because at this point I'd reached an adept level of curiosity, where studying the Vedas and many other, sects of religion, religious texts, I knew of the hidden realm, and I was very much married to it before reading the text. So I said to myself, is he tapping into what Catholics would call Dante's Inferno, where they have the levels of hell, and he's able to tap into the levels? And at this point, I'm 20, so I'm going, maybe not. what is he really tapping into? And I'd done more research and found out that he wasn't really a psychic, and that he had a lot of handlers on hand to help him gather information. But I digress and say he was still potentially very gifted. Because at the point where I just described to you what I do on Twitter, I can tap into dead people on the same level if I just talk to people. Unfortunately, their ancestry starts to speak to me through their DNA. And I don't say unfortunately in a way like I don't need that or it's regrettable. I say in a way where they're not ready for me to speak back to them yet. And that's unfortunate, because when I do speak back, I'm usually saying something that is either directly ancestral to you and or pertinent to your kind. Now, when I say your kind, that's the more top secret words of, you know, the secret peoples of the secret thoughts of people. So stop, look and listen. What causes a lot of this magic to happen between a psychic and another person are water molecules. I've been talking on this channel for a while about water and its secret technology. And I'll go into a very famous reference just so that I can pin it in your brain, like a little pin to your Instagram post or a pin to your Twitter feed. Remember when Bruce Lee said, "Be like water, my friend"? Do you remember? How many Bruce Lee fans out there? By show of hands, you know, or by show of waves. All right, Bruce Lee said, "Be like water." Well, stop again. The secret thoughts of people. I'm very much similar to Bruce Lee in the way I speak. I will leave off sometimes the secret word that actually unlocks the hidden phrase, because the phrase is so easy to be interpreted in many ways. When you leave off the secret word, you allow for the person hearing your frequency to adapt it to their own lifestyle. But if you add the secret word, which usually comes from a deeper wisdom, the secret word opens you up and makes you go, oh my God, that person says you have to go this path. Well, in this case, Bruce Lee's secret word wasn't just be like water, it was be like water when you touch it. Be the water itself. Not being like how water flows or water moves around you. That's also the additive, the top level information. But the sub level information is, can you be the water? Can you remember that you are water? 90 what percent of your body? 90 what percent? Who cares what percentage of your body? You're mostly water. Now, taking control of your own water is almost something like that happens in the movie Dune. Maybe you're not too sci-fi gifted as, some of the listeners here, but Dune is a movie from the 80s and also a book from the 60s, written by a very good author who was tapping into his third eye at the time when he looked into desert folk and how the desert makes people desperate for the most precious objects, being water, and water being the essence of life also created magic on the other side of an animal or a creature on the planet that died and created a spice. And this spice, when combined with the water of life, which was basically blessed water, created an individual who was able to tap into the future, the future's futures, and then the past, and then the past's pasts. Now, this is a level of shamanistic energy that is very much available to everything around you and everyone around you. It's more about the focus one individual takes to change their mind in time. Now, I'm going to be the first to announce, as a very deep practicing shaman, because I don't have the daily routine that I would love to have yet. A lot of times I find myself digressing into my unbalanced nature just to deal with unbalanced people. And to do that, it's a gift because I can snap right back. So can most adepts. I mean, maybe you're an adept listening to this lecture and you're just trying to gain more information, and you know what I'm really talking about. But on my adept level, I want to add one more caveat. I'm very, very forgetful. I've learned how to wipe my memory clean. Some would call it in psychology suppressed memories. Well, the thing is, what if you're able to remember your memory and then wipe it out? And then what happens is you start with clean slates of paper. Now, this is dangerous because at the end of the day, I can imagine I've wiped out some things that I potentially should take as life lessons. In this incarnation, in this time, in this current flux. In this current flux capacity, there's a different resonation about my incarnation than when I've remembered a very deeper incarnation, not prior, not recent ones, but a very deeper incarnation where the ability to be here and a little bit of everywhere was in perfect balance based on the lifestyle that was the culture. And many of you might not know me. That's great. I'm DJ Dab. Look, don't get it twisted. I can only talk about what I know. I never talk about what I don't know. And having personally digressed to a time period where I was another thing or another person, the pharaonic lineage just flows through my wisdom. And I can't doubt it. I can't deny it. I want to make sure, though, that the trust factor between you and I as my listeners, not my followers, just listen to me. Please don't follow me. But if you're listening to me, hit the follow button. The subscribe button, follow button, whatever platform you happen to be on. And don't forget to hit that heart or that like button, because in all honesty, this is how we spread this knowledge. It doesn't have to be a hierarchy of who's in command of it. But at the end of the day, there's going to always be someone in command of it. Now, is it you? Is it me? Is it a third party? Are we working on getting past the third party that controls it? Because the third party that controls third eyes right now has their way with society. And that is some of their secret thoughts. You might not want to admit that you're under mind control. That's great. I don't care if you have a very active third eye. I've found myself under mind control following love, which is my purest principle. And that in itself is a drug where I allowed all my inhibitions to just rile off. You know what I mean? Inhibitions are there to protect one. When you let your inhibitions go, you're free balling. You're going commando, girls. You know what I mean? You're waving in the air, guys. So I think deeply about this talk, saying, this was just a quick message to remind any of my listeners out there, I am not your leader, but I am your God. But on that note, I'll just leave you with a little dab, because it's Throw a Dab Thursday. It's one of my favorite days. If you hit the dab, dab pin, whatever, do your thing. If you, just into dabbling into a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you're one of those cosmic people that, have the gift of gab, please keep dabbling on, add on. I like it if you comment below any questions or concerns you might have regarding this topic, because in all essence, a lot of the things that we're discussing here can leapfrog you into the next level we're gonna go take. So look forward to seeing some of you in my Patreon channel. Until then, be more. Peace.